So the success is more depending upon the research stand view by the honest doctors and researchers, not only in India but also across the world. And as Dr. Amitabh Banerjee is here, his article and his viewpoints were produced before the court. It helped us a lot, and it was it gave us a line of action, and it was very much effective for comparing between the suggestion given by the task force members and also what is the real science. So all the participants, they may be doctors, they may be scientists, they may be IITians, are doing their job well. Their efforts are very much helpful for us. And what I would like to suggest is that the people should the people be made more aware about their question raising capacity. Means they should learn to raise questions for each nonsense mandates or anything which is unlawful. And for that purpose, I always keep on telling that whatever the law is not so much rigid, law is very simple. It can be summarized that whatever hits the common sense is illegal in the eyes of law. So now it is the job of the advocates to bring that illegality in the four corners of the penal provisions or any legal provisions. That is being done very well by many advocates, and there is a need that much more advocates should join this mission. And as the Supreme Court judgment and many High Court judgment had proved that the government and these task force members many that bogus task force members, those who are not having proper knowledge or those who are sponsored or motivated by their ulterior purposes or sponsors, they are not able to produce any evidence in support of their nonsense mandates. That's why whenever there is a good judge, good court, judicious court, then their mandates, their always circulars, directions were quashed by the court. We may take the example of Guwahati High Court, Meghalaya High Court, Bombay High Court, and Supreme Court of India. So together, all the doctors, advocates, and mostly the common man can form a big force which can defeat this mafia, and they can be sent to their right place, that is jail. This is the summary of our all fights.
So one thing, the latest Delhi High Court order on no masks by those who are flying. How can a
Yes.
court intervene and ask Director Control, Civil Aviation, to issue such orders? From where did they get that information that COVID-19 is still prevalent or it is spreading fast? Is there any scientific evidence? Are there any hospitalizations in Delhi itself? Kisan Andolan took place for 1 year. Neither Supreme Court nor Delhi High Court takes cognizance of that. Was there any COVID appropriate behavior? Did they wear masks? Was there any physical distance? Did they take vaccination? In the peak, many were dying in Delhi, they were shown. But how many of them died? How many of them got affected? How many of them were hospitalized during Kisan Andolan? Even for that matter, now during this phase, lakhs of people participated in election, IPL matches in your own Mumbai city and everywhere. And also, at the stroke of the federal judge of America, very clearly stating there is no need for any mask for transport. And also another judge, federal judge, clearly made Pfizer to reveal the after effects. How dangerous, how fatal these after effects of the vaccines were. How is that these are not being taken into cognizance anywhere? And surprisingly, even we are hearing that Maharashtra again is trying to impose the mandates. Your audio, sir. Your audio. Your audio, sir.
Yes, now audible.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Ah. First, I will explain the illegality in the Delhi High Court judgment. Delhi High Court judgment is illegal on 2 points. First, the cognizance of that case was taken by the single judge of the High Court. So it was the suo motu cognizance, and it is again the Constitution Bench guideline of the Supreme Court in common cause case. So I will cite that. There are many judgments, but that is one judgment, campaign for judicial accountability and others. In that case, the Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court clearly said that only Chief Justice is the master of the roster, and only Chief Justice can take the suo motu cognizance. If any other judge on its own exercises the power of the Chief Justice and takes the suo motu cognizance of any case, then such order, such proceeding does not hold the field. It is void ab initio, illegal, and null and void. Therefore, that direction is itself illegal, and it is contempt of the Supreme Court's guidelines. One thing. Second thing, now coming to the point. To issue any guidelines is not the jurisdiction of the High Court or the Supreme Court when they can issue guidelines when there is a statutory gap and when there is a argument, this party, opposite party, all parties are heard, and based on that, like in Vishaka guidelines or that DK Basu's guideline, in that case, for protecting the fundamental rights of the citizen, court can issue guideline. But here, the judge, without there being any scientific evidence on record, without, and it is also in Jacob Pulel's case and in Satinov decision, court made it clear that judges are not the experts. So it is none the job of the judge to pass the guidelines which are having the effect of violating the fundamental rights of the citizen, one thing. Second thing, which is contrary to the scientific evidence available on record. When the central government is saying that Disaster Management Act should not be applied, henceforth, one thing. Second thing, the written information given by the ICMR, Health Ministry, and other scientific proofs, peer-reviewed studies make it very clear that the mask does not protect from the infection. One thing. There is no scientific evidence, and they say that healthy people should not wear the mask. These are the guidelines by the central government. And second thing, RTR are available. ICMR say that they are having no evidence to show that mask prevent the infection. One thing. Second thing, all the renowned journals and the peer-reviewed studies, means the summary of that study is that mask gives rise to many side effects, such as decreasing the level of the oxygen, which ultimately decreases your immunity to fight against the corona and many diseases, damage of lungs, and many such side effects, even that may cause death. Now, the order of the Delhi High Court judge is a blanket order. Those who don't wear the mask in aeroplane should not be allowed to travel. So, what if a person with health problems like asthma or others, he was forced to wear the mask, and if he dies, then Section 52 of IPC says nothing can be said to be done in good faith if it is not done with due care and caution. Before the High Court, there was no scientific evidence, there was no discussion on this point, and there was no reason for the judge to pass such order. So that order is illegal, and if anything happens wrong to any person, then I am of the view that the said judge should be held personally responsible for any death or any casualty, and for that purpose there is specific provision in the IPC, and even a common man can apply before the President of India for getting permission to prosecute such judges.
But meanwhile, that fear psychosis just going to envelop, and everyone who is traveling to the airport now will be forced to mandate.
Yes.
And how can are you planning to contest this, because he is an acting chief justice, as you rightly said. That
Yes,
should. And another point, whether it is Supreme Court or High Court or anyone, without divulging whether they have isolated the virus, whether RT-PCR tests are 100% sure to explore the virus possibility, and what does this remdesivir or other treatment patterns contain in them, and also vaccines they were discussing. Did anyone reveal what does the vaccine contain? And that RTI showed Covaxin contains cow calf blood, the other vaccine contains chimpanzee cells, the other one dead fetal cells. These are, I'm telling you only this thing. Maybe there are more dangerous, alumina, graphene oxide, without understanding what the contents are in the vaccine or in the treatment in the form of remdesivir, or for that virus, whether the virus was isolated or not. How can courts indulge in a trial, and that too investing public money, my money, and creating fear for me, so that my life is endangered, my health is endangered? I am forced mandates upon myself.
Hello.
Yes sir, I have done, I have completed.
हाँ, ओके ओके शायद मेरे ख्याल से डॉक्टर साहब कुछ कह रहे हैं.
सुनाई नहीं दिया सर?
हाँ, एक मिनट. हाँ, सो फर्स्ट थिंग, सुप्रीम either Supreme Court or High Court have not asked anyone in the order that they may be forcefully vaccinated or not. Actually, earlier there is one Justice Chandrachud judgment regarding the person with mental disability, that the hospital staff may be vaccinated. That is a different thing. But in writing, in Jacob Pulel's case, everything is clear. Right to refuse vaccine is fundamental right under Article 21 of each citizen. That issue is clear, one thing. Regarding second thing, that remdesivir and others, it is none the job of the court, and the judges who had taken the extrajudicial jurisdiction to themselves committed illegality. That is wrong. However, at that time, the pharma mafia's propaganda was so high, so means the pressure was so high, and media and everything. So, and our group was at that time not in such a position, or we were just preparing or means हम हमारे हथियार वगैरह जमा कर रहे थे, वेपन्स वगैरह हम जमा कर रहे थे. So we were is late. So at that time they have done much damage, but now we are much prepared, and a considerable defeat has been given to them. So regarding remdesivir or anything else, so I am of the view that there need a sincere persuasion of the prosecution of these bureaucrats and the pharma mafias. We have filed, at present there are 3 major cases pending. One is against Bill Gates for vaccine murder case by Hitesh Kadve. Another is vaccine murder case by Dr. Snehal Luna's parents. And third is that vaccine murder case at Kerala High Court by Noah Sabu's parents. So people have demanded hundreds of crore compensation also, and prosecution under the charges of murder 302 and others, death penalty charges. So these are pending. We pursue it means with due diligence. Then there is means chance that this mafia will not dare to commit similar wrongs, and few judges who are means taking jurisdiction to themselves and considering that they are above all the doctors and all researchers, and whatever said by the pharma mafia is correct. So they will think 1,000 times, because even if judge commits mistake, even if any person dies because of the mistake of the judge, then judge is also responsible as per the section 120B of IBC. There is Raman Lal specific judgment is there. So judge can also be prosecuted for the death penalty. That is not no problem yet. So only problem is in the mindset of the public. They have trained us that no, judge cannot be prosecuted. Who said the specific provisions are there? I myself have written the book on how to prosecute judges. All the procedure, all the case laws are mentioned there. You can visit the website of Indian Bar Association. Book is already there.
Wonderful.
So I think there is no problem. Some judges committed mistake. We can miss. Actually, we are overburdened, but we will try. When people make aware, we are just miss. जिसको क्या बोलते हैं, फाउंडेशन बना रहे, फाउंडेशन बना रहे, and one by one जिसका जैसा टाइम आएगा, then definitely sooner or late they should be punished.